So are we ready to cry together? Well, I had to pull out my big boy needles from my big boy language that I may drop later, but I'll try to edit that stuff out. And I was really confused by the photograph here. So when originally I thought, okay, I'm going to tackle this thing, I'm like, did they get that? Here I go. So I started working on this last night, as I mentioned, and I had about 6 false starts. So I kept getting confused. So I was kind of being lazy. So I had to come up with the concept of how am I going to remember the steps and what exactly is a knit one below. So that was a new thing for me. And later on, we're going to do a PSSO, a pass slip stitch over. At the time, right now, as I'm filming, I don't know what that means, but we'll figure it out. I'm going to be using a thicker yarn to demonstrate this stitch concept. It is using a 5.5mm circular knitting needles. And what it is that the wire with the needles is about 29 inches. So this is just a 16 one. So you need wider so that you can get all of the stitches when it goes into the full diagonal here. It's actually not a hard pattern, but I think you have to be organized when it comes to this thing. So it's like any big pattern out there. So if you want to do a whole screen right now and just put me on pause so you can write down some information, it would be kind of awesome. And I did this little check sheet so that I can get 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's the repeat and the increase. And I just gave myself a mental note of what the stitch is to start. Rows number 7 and 9 are the same row. So once I get that into my thick head, I'll be able to understand that, and I got it in my thick head so far. So, and then I put on how I finished so that I'm just keeping in line. So these 7 and 9 are the same row. I also wanted to make a mention of it when it is the right side. So we're going to be posting that on there. We'll be putting on a stitch marker when we get moving on this thing, because I think once you understand, when you can physically look at what is right side and wrong side, it'll help you. But I think as I keep on going on this thing, I'll be able to identify it, but I'm too new at knitting to be able to identify anything. So before I really get into this thing, I just finished filming this. Proud of myself. This video will have lots of sarcasm and some self-beating up comments, so just be aware of that. But I was a big boy and didn't use any big boy words like I thought I was going to, because I'm pretty good with that. And really happy with this, and I learned a lot, like a lot. I know. I think I'm done for the day. So tonight, it's just lunchtime in my time zone, but tonight is stitch night and pub night. Can we just skip the rest of the day and just go right to pub night? Continue on with this tutorial. So just grab a spare piece of yarn, and we're going to mark the right side. So the right side is row number 1, 3, 5, or 7. And I'm not going to mark the right side right away because I'm going to mark it a little bit later, and I'll tell you that in here as well. So let's grab our yarn. So I'm going to cast on, and we're going to create a slip knot. If you need to know how to do slip knots, beginner stages of knitting, we have that. And just place that onto your circular knitting needles. I'm just using the wooden sticks today because I might have to stab something, possibly a vampire by the end of this thing. So I'm going to just cast on, and I'm going to just create 2 stitches. So this is considered 1, and I'm going to make the second. And I prefer a twist cast on when I go. So if you have a different method, then please do that. I'm going to look back one day and look at these videos and say, what was I thinking? Because I might learn stuff in the future. An old dog can learn new tricks. This was row number 1. Sorry, this was the cast on of 2 stitches. And let's begin row number 1. Let's begin row number 1. We're going to do this is the right side of the work, but we'll worry about that later. And we're going to do a KFB. If you're thinking KFC, you're in my boat because I'm immature. And it's KFB, that's knit front back. And what we're doing is we're doing an increased stitch. So you're going to go in as if you're going to knit. So you go in so the needle on the right is on the back side, and you wrap that and you flip it forward, but don't slide that off yet. And what you have to do then at this point is take this needle, and in the same stitch, you want to just go into the back side of it. So just kind of maneuver things and get that point to go into the same stitch, but come in from behind. So this is the back, and you're just going in on the back side. So you're just going in the front door and through the back door, okay? And then you're going to knit again. And so you were going to, or just wrap and go through, and when you pull through, just pull this one a little bit tighter, and it should be on your needle. Miracles happen every day. And now you've just converted this one loop here to be 2. And now you're officially done that, and now you can slide that loop off. And then the next one is just a knit one. So it's just go in and do your knit stitch. And we'll be demonstrating this front back again. And so you wrap and pull through, so it's a knit stitch. And look at that, you got 3 stitches. So there you go. So let's change hands and let's move on to row number 2. Row number 2, I recognize this. It's a knit stitch, so we're gonna knit every one of the stitches, so we're not doing an increase, and we're just going to do the knit stitch for all 3 stitches. Oh my goodness, there's hope for this old dog. And so we have just completed then row number 2. So there's 3 stitches, change hands, and let's begin the 3rd row. 3rd row, we're going to do a KFB twice and then a knit 1. So there's only 3 stitches. So the first stitch will be KFB, the next one will be KFB, so it's knit front back, knit front back. So we're going to convert this into 2 stitches, this into 2 stitches, and we're going to knit that last one. So let's do KB front back. So wrap and pop through. Don't slide it off yet. Maneuver and go into the same stitch on the back. Okay, so you're going into the same one, wrap it and pop through. Okay, so you did it once, and this is how we're doing in our increases on this one. We'll do the same here. So we're going to knit stitch, but don't slide. We're going to do a KFB. So then put this one back through the same. Okay, so you're going into the front door to the back door and coming in. Keep this tight. It'll help pull it onto that needle here. And then you can slide that loop off. See, so those 2 stitches that we just had end up creating 4 because you 2 and 2, and then you knit that last one. Okay, and that was then the 3rd row. Let's turn our work and do the 4th. Okay, let's blow really hard. This in, breathe, and out, and in, and breathe, and let's try the 4th row. We're going to do a knit 1 below. If you've never heard of it, you're in my club. So you're in the right channel today. So we're gonna knit 2, it says K2, that means knit 2. So you're gonna knit 2 stitches in a row. So you just do your knit stitch in the first one, and then knit the next. Now, those 2 are on there. The knit 1 below is really kind of hard to see it when you're first learning for the very first time, and I don't even know how to show you. But usually what we do is we go and we knit into this stitch here, but we want to knit just below it. So we're going down, and you have to trust in it. So just, I'm trying to see if you can see some space. So if you pull down like this, do you see that there's a space there? Let me just put something white in behind there. Do you see that there's a, let me just see if I can get that angle there. Do you see it? It's right there. And so what you're going to do is when you go to knit, you're not going here, but you're going below, right here. Okay, see this horizontal line and this vertical? You're going just after it. And you just go right in. I'll demonstrate this a few times because we have to keep doing this kind of concept. This is what's creating those big lines. So we're going to wrap the needle, and you're going to pull through that. Make sure that you do not leave this horizontal on there, because I was doing that and creating a mess. So just pop it and make sure you're just pulling through the yarn that is been wrapped only. And once you have that done, you release it off, and that was a knit 1 below. And I'll demonstrate it further on in this tutorial. So then the last 2 stitches are a knit 2. So you can breathe again. So breathe in, and knit the next one, breathe out. And what you're going to notice on this whole thing is that we don't increase every row because it's knitting. It takes a little bit longer than crochet to grow out. So not every row is an increase, and we'll be talking about that later. So let's move on to the 5th row. Let's change hands and go to the 5th. You're going to notice the knit 1 below never appears on every row, only every other row. So in this row, knit number 5, this is going to be the repeat that you'll have in the increase all the time. And so row number 5 stays consistent, and once you can get it into your head, it's a lot easier. So row number 5, we're going to do a KFB first, so a knit front back. So let's just wrap and come in, and we're not done with that. Come in the back, front door to the back door, and grab that same one again and convert that into 2 stitches. Look at this, you think I was a professional or something. Professional idiot. So now it says to knit all until the last 2 stitches. So this is going to happen over and over. So every other row you'll have this holiday. So slide this one off before you continue. And so you're going to knit all the stitches except for the last 2 stitches on the needles. So just knit. Let's whistle Dixie. I don't know what that means, but I heard it somewhere. And so you got the last 2 stitches. The second last stitch will be the increase stitch. So we always increase on the first stitch here, but on the opposite side here on our 5th row, it's going to be a knit KFB, or KFB, yeah, that's right. So it's going to be a KFB, so you're just going to wrap and go through the front door to the back door and do that increase that you need to do. Okay, so that's always going to be the second last stitch, and then the last stitch is always going to be a knit stitch. And now this is where I want you to hold, and I want you to mark this side. This is an odd number, so therefore it's the right side. So remember that little strand here? If you have a crochet hook or something, maybe a tapestry needle, I want you just to put it through something here and just kind of attach it. So every time you see this, you're going to notice is that you're on the right side of the work. And when you're doing the increase here on an odd number, which is 5, 7, 9, all of those, you're always going to notice that that's in the right side, and that's the same stitch work that you'll have to do. And so this will make your life a lot easier. Let's turn and go into the 6th row. So the 6th row is the row before the repeat starts, and we're going to get ourselves established and now creating the texture. So the row 1 below was texture, but also purl ones are going to be texture as well. And that's what we're going to establish. So we're going to start and we're going to knit the first 2. So 1 and 2. It then says purl 1. So if you're that new, just take this yarn and take it over top of the right needle and bring it to the front before you do the purl. And the purl, you're going to stick the needle in the top side and out towards here. Remember, we have slower tutorials in this kind of concept for stitches, just like purl. So you wrap the needle and flip it to the back. And before you carry on this yarn here, we need to take it back to the back side. The next one is going to be a knit 1 below. So you can see it now here. Let me grab a crochet hook. It's right here. Do you see that? So you're going to jam the needle through right to the back side. I find the first time you do a knit 1 below, on near the beginning of a row, it's kind of a PETA. You can look up the acronym for that, but all the rest of them will be very easy. This is already a knit back, a knit 1 below, and this is what's creating those lines in the project. So just stick the needle through, okay, that space. It's not through the one on the needle, and just knit, stitch, and pop it through, and make sure you only grab the yarn that has been wrapped, and let everything else slide off. You're then going to purl the next one, so you have to move the yarn forward and purl. And then the last 2 on your knitting needles will be a knit stitch, so move the yarn back and knit stitch. Now, I'm going to bring you back to my sheet that has been sitting off camera there, underneath that pink crochet hook. because now you're going to see it. So this here is going to create the lines that you'll see, and we're going to be making new lines as this thing gets bigger. Let's go to my sheet now. So I found it was a lot easier just to make a handmade sheet like this. If you want to do something on a computer, you can. So rows number 7 and 9 is the same thing as row number 5. You're going to start off with the KFB, and then you're going to knit all the way across the row, and the last 2 stitches will be a KFB first, and then the last stitch is going to be a knit 1. And that'll happen every time you're doing rows number 7 and 9. In row number 8, you're going to knit the first 2, then a K1B, that's knit 1 below, and then you are going to continue to alternate throughout the pattern to be able to go through, and I'll show you what that means. Okay, so you're going to go all the way through, and then the last 3 stitches, the third last stitch is going to be K1B, knit 1 below, and then knit 2. In number 9, it's the same thing as 7, so it's an easy. And I also put that it's RS, it's the right side. So when you see that stitch marker, you'll be able to see where you are. And so if you can just understand this particular rows, you're gonna notice that you can probably speed through the increase rows. So we are only increasing the project every other row, not every row. Then finally for row 10, there's just a sequence difference. It's a knit 2, purl 1 first, and then a K1B, and then it'll be purl 1, K1B, and etc. all the way to the end. And the last 2 stitches is a purl 1, or sorry, the last 3 stitches is a purl 1, okay, and then K2 right at the end. So that means knit 2. So let's begin row number 7 and keep your check sheet handy. So row number 7 is the same thing as row number 5. So you're going to start with a KFB, knit front back in the first stitch. Okay, so don't release it yet, and do the back front door to the back door. I just stay stuff like that to help me remember. Okay, and then you're going to then go down. Okay, so now we're going to knit the remaining except for the very final 2 stitches. So just whistle your Dixie all the way and knit all the way to the end of the row. So every other row you kind of get a holiday like this until you see 2 stitches left. So the second last stitch is going to be a knit FB, so KFB. So knit, don't release it, go through the front door to the back door to do your increase. Somebody's going to crucify me for coming up with new sayings. So we're going to do that. Okay, so those just became 2 stitches. And then finally, you're going to knit the last one. So you'll keep repeating this every time you're on row number 7 and number 9. And let's turn our work and begin number 8 and check that off on your sheet. Check. So whenever you have the 8th row, there just is going to be water each time you do an 8th. You're going to start and you're going to knit the first 2 in a row. Okay, and this is considered the wrong side. So, and you can tell that because the stitch marker is not on this side. So then you're going to knit 1 below. And as I said, the first one out is always kind of the hardest one I noticed, and especially in the light, but it's right through here. Okay, so just kind of pull it apart if you don't see it. Okay, it's right there. And that's where you're going to go and stick your needle, and you're going to knit the one below there, and make sure that you don't get that horizontal with it. Your next one is then going to be a purl. So move the yarn in front and purl. And I found in my practice last night that you'll be able to see these purls pretty easily in the future. The next one is a knit 1 below. So it's going to increase the number. And now see how much more open that is? I find the ones that are in the middle of the row are a lot easier than the first one that you do. Then purl. And then the third last one before you get to the end is going to be a knit 1 below. It's right there. Do you see it? and then that will leave you 2 stitches, and so the last 2 will be a knit stitch each. And that was row number 8. I'm making this look simple because last night I was ready to burst into tears. And there you go. So the lines that you see in the project, do you see? They're coming up there. And let's turn and let's check that off on our list. Check. And let's do number 9. So number 9 is the same as number 5, the same as number 7. So the first one is a KFB. Front door to the back door. Easy to remember, right? You're also looking at the right side of the work, and you can tell that by the stitch marker. And then you were going to knit then the remaining of the row until you get to the last 2 stitches. So for those that are new to me knitting, I am learning. I am making some mistakes as I go. And I think the whole point of learning a new thing is to be able to understand it. And so I've had some people say, well, you know, you should learn knitting more. And, you know, the truth is yes and no. I think why not try to teach others as I'm learning to make it more authentic to somebody that may be struggling and also seeing a host struggle. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So you have the 2 stitches left. So the second last one is going to be a KFB, because I look at these symbols and these abbreviations. I'm like, what the hell is that? So a KFB is the second last one, and then you're going to knit the last one, and that was number 9. Okay, look at that, eh? And let's turn our work and begin number 10 and check that off on your list. Let's begin the 10th row. You're going to knit the first 2 stitches, and you're on the wrong side of the work, so you're going to knit the first 2 stitches. It says K2, and then it says P1. What is P1? P is short for purl, so move the yarn in front first, and then purl. Okay, and now you're alternating between purl and K1B, knit 1 below. So if you're not purling, you're below. So we're gonna purl, move the yarn back, and go 1 below. And do you see how open that is? It's always the start of these knitting projects that's so tight. And I don't think it's necessarily your host. I whistle as I walk. So, and you can use your mind for that. So you're gonna get that one, and then you're gonna purl. So do you see the line in front? So that's a purl. And then you're going to knit 1 below. So move the yarn back and come in below, right there. And now that you can identify, do you see the line is coming up? So you'll be able to identify those the more that you get onto your needles. And you're gonna move all the way across in this formation. So you're purling. I'm gonna knit 1 below. When I started doing the knit 1 below last night, I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? So you'll go all the way in that same, just alternating between the 2 stitches until you see 3 stitches left. The third last stitch is going to be a purl 1, and that's because we were just in the row below. So we're maintaining the pattern. So we're gonna purl 1 below, if I could just wrap the damn thing. And the last 2 stitches are going to be a knit stitch. So move the yarn back and knit. So just for your stitching pleasure, I'm going to go through rows number 7 through 10 one more time, because there's more on the needles to work with, and then I can show a decrease at least twice in a row. So it kind of looks like a mess at the very beginning. That's because everything is really tight, but you'll notice is that it looks amazing once it gets more relaxed as it goes. So let's turn and let's go back to number 7. So let's check 10 off our list and do number 7. So let's do row number 7. It's the same as number 5, same as number 9, and you're always going to start with the increase of a KFB to begin. You're on the right side of the work as well, so you're going to go in, and then you'll go in through the front door to the back door. So it's a KFB, converting that 1 stitch into 2. And then you're just going to knit and whistle your Dixie all the way across, except for the final 2. Can't believe I'm knitting. Actually, I'm pretty proud of myself. It's always something I've kind of wanted to learn, and I always thought it was too hard for me. I'm a simple-minded person. generally. I'm very analytical, but I can be very simple when it comes to these kind of skills. So I'm proud of myself more than anything, even if you're not. So I keep knitting until I see 2 onto the needle. So what is gonna happen in the second last one? Can you tell me? Yes, you're gonna go and get your bucket of chicken with the K up B. So you're gonna K up B that one. And it gets easier to K up B in the end, once you get used to it. So that one, and then what are you gonna do with that final stitch? Yeah, you're gonna continue to knit that last one, and that was row number 7 again. The only difference is that it's wider. Turn your work, check it off on your list, and let's do number 8. Let's do number 8. We're on the wrong side of the project. You can tell that by the stitch marker, and you're gonna knit the first 2. I'm actually starting to get in the swing of this. So you knit the first 2. Okay. And then what's the next one? It's a knit 1 below. So I always find it's kind of a hard one, the first one, and it is right. It's a little tighter. See, it's right there. You see? It's right there. So jam your needle through and knit 1 below. And make sure you're only grabbing the strand that's been wrapped, and then slide it off. The next one is a knit, as a purl 1, so you just move the yarn in front. And so you can physically see it. The rows are now starting to make sense. And so you can see that this is a purl. And if you can't, just trust in it. So the next one's a purl, and then a knit 1 below is your next one. And so you can kind of see you're doing your knit 1s below, and you pull it, and you can go right there. Slide off. This one's a purl. So you're going to alternate between the knit 1 below and the purl all the way across. And it's going to be the 3 stitches at the end that you got to just change up your work a little bit. So then go back and knit 1 below. It's creating that beautiful line work. That's what you're seeing in that visuals, is that line, these lines. So then purl. And knit 1 below. Okay, and then finally, okay, I got 4 left, never mind. Okay, so I'm looking for my 3 stitches at the end. So what we have here is that we're gonna knit 1 below, which is the next one. So I got 3 left. So the third last one is a knit 1 below. And then the last 2 are going to be a knit stitch. And this was duplicating number 8 all over again. And so we've increased a little bit more. You can kind of see things are working out. Let's turn to work and do number 9. Let's check that off on our list. Let's begin number 9. It's that increase row that we know, and we're on the right side of the work. So it's a KFB to start us off. Okay, and then we're gonna whistle Dixie and just knit all the way until the second last, to the 2 stitches left on there. Now I don't understand, and that's because I'm so new at knitting, why they increase on the first stitch here and why they do the increase on the opposite side on the second one. So I really don't know that answer. I don't know if I really care that much either. But there's got to be a method to the madness, because the people that design this stuff actually know what they're doing, versus a user like me that's just following these instructions and hoping to God I don't drop a stitch. Okay, so keep on moving. So just keep moving your loops down your needles. And as you get bigger and bigger, your circulars are going to be holding out more and more. So the second last one is going to be a KFB. And then your last one is what? It's going to be a knit stitch. And that concludes that. That was number 9 all over again. And see, look. It's actually double-sided. Check it off, number 9, and let's do number 10. And then I'm gonna show you 10, and then we're gonna start doing a decrease to once you're ready for that. So I gotta go pee really bad, but I'm so excited about this. I'm just crazy. Number 10, you're gonna start and you're gonna knit the first 2. Then you're going to purl the first one, or sorry, the next one that you're gonna purl. And then once you get that first purl done, if you could just wrap it and it holds. Once you get the first purl one, you're then going to start doing your knit one below. Okay, so that's knit one below, and you can see the lines are clearly in the project now. So that's a knit one below. The next one has to be a purl. Okay, knit one below. So if this old dog can learn this, I think you probably could too. Okay, and knit one below. So don't get distracted too much that that you start to do the wrong stitches. Okay, and knit one below. Purl. And so you're doing this all the way until you get to the 3 last stitches. You get your 3rd last stitch, so the 3rd last one is going to be a purl 1. And then knit the final 2, so K2, knit 2. And this will be the end of the 10th row once again. So your blanket can be any size. If you have thick yarn like this, I don't even know the size of my needles, but they're big. But yeah, you can see that. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to talk about the increase and then what you need to do. And then when you're ready for a decrease, you can come back to this video and cry some more. And I better go pee real quick. And check that off on your list too. Don't forget to do that. Okay, so I'm back. I just pet my kitty on the way back to calm me down a little bit. I'm actually not doing too bad. I was really stressed last night. So you're going to repeat the 7th to the 10th round until the straight edge, get that, a gay host, straight edge measures 46 inches. So when you're doing this, you're going to notice is that it's going to be like this on your knitting needles. And so this edge right here should be 46 inches. If you want to change the size, just make sure you end on a 10th row so that you can get yourself ready for the decrease. So here's my worksheet, and this matches this section up here. And it's rows number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Rows number 1 and 3, just like it was an odd number for up here, is the right side of the work, just so that you know. And so rows number 1 and 3 are always going to be the same. So that's a nice, easy memory to be able to keep in your head. So KFB will increase the stitch on this side of the work, but then you're going to do a purl 2 together on the using the last 3 stitches. You'll use 2 stitches and make it a purl 2 together, and then you'll knit the final one. And you'll do that each time. It's either row number 1 or 3. Row number 2, we're going to get back to the wrong side of the work where the first 2 are in knit 2 together, or sorry, knit 2. And then K1B, so knit 1 below, and then purl 1, and you keep alternating between these 2. And then finally the last 3 stitches, the 3rd last one is a K1B, and then you'll knit the last 2. On row number 4, here you're going to K2, so knit 2, purl 1, and then knit 1 below, and then purl 1, knit 1 below, and keep all the way to the other side. And then here it's just a purl 1, and then K2, so the last 3 stitches are purl 1, and then K2. So we're going to try, and we're going to do this section to make it a rectangular shape. Remember, 1 and 3 is the same information. So as you start number 1, you're going to start with a KFB. So this is going to be the side that will continue to go up, and this side will continue then to decrease. Okay, so this side is building, so we're going to do a KFB to start. And then you're going to knit all the way across until you get to the last 3 stitches. So just whistle your Dixie of knitting across. So I'm just continuing to look until I get 3 stitches on the needle. Once you have then this here, we're going to purl 2 together, okay? So to purl 2 together, to purl, you have to move the yarn in front first, and then stick your hook, or sorry, your needle, sorry, I'm used to crochet, stick your needle through the first one and the second one at the same time. So get both of them so that they're both on to the front needle. Wrap the yarn and pull through, or sorry, go around. God, I got crochet in my head, I wonder why. So I'm gonna purl 2 together, and then you're going to knit the last one. So just move the yarn back and knit your last one, and this will be then row number 1. So on one side we did the increase, and on this side we're doing a decrease. And let's turn and let's do row number 2 and check it off on your list. So let's do number 2. You're going to knit the first 2, and then we're going to do our knit 1 below, so K1B. So it's like you know already, so go below, and once you get the first one to start it like this, you know that the next one has to be a purl. So then you alternate between the 2 stitches once again. So back, and then knit 1 below. So you could knit a baby size blanket. I don't know if I know I probably will never make a grown adult size blanket, just for time reasons, but baby size is probably doable, especially a thicker yarn like this. So you're gonna get the 3 last stitches at the end. So you're gonna knit 1 below and the 3rd last one. And then the final 2 are going to be knit each. So K2, knit 2. And this was row number 2. Okay, so you can kind of see that it's starting to come up here, and this side is still increasing. So check it off on your list, and let's do number 3. Let's do row number 3. It says same as the first row that we started with. And so you're gonna start, and you're gonna do a K up B to begin. So we're gonna do an increase on this side. So first one, and then front door to the back door. And then you're gonna whistle your Dixie of just knitting all the way until you get to the last 3 stitches on the knitting needles. So I got my last 3. So in the last 3 here, we're gonna purl the 2 together. So you're gonna put the yarn in front first and then purl the 2. So stay on the front side and collect both of the loops and purl those 2 together, and then you'll knit the last one. And that was row number 3. Let's pull it out and see what it looks like. Awesome possum. And let's turn, I've already turned, and let's begin number 4 and check that off in your list. Number 4, you're going to knit the first 2. And then you're going to do a purl 1, and that starts our sequence. So we'll do a purl 1. You can see the stitch work, how it's working out. Alright, so you'll purl 1, and then the next one is a knit 1 below. Now that the lines are really clearly in the project, I think it wouldn't be hard. I think that it'd be harder to screw it up if you're paying attention to the visuals, but your life could be structured differently that you get distracted easy. I don't know, you can let me know in the comments if you even get this far in the video. Okay, so you're just alternating between the 2, and you're looking for the last 3 stitches to be on the needle. So I got 4 here, so I'm knitting 1 below, and I have my 3 stitches left. So the 3rd last one is going to be a purl. And then you're going to knit the final 2 together. Or sorry, a final 2 on their own, sorry. Just like that. And then we're going to turn it work, and then I'm going to show a decrease 1 more time. So check number 4 off, and we're going to go back to doing row number 1 through 4 one more time. So let's do row number 1 again, and this is continuing to make it a rectangle. So you can do 1 through 4, and remember it says the one side will be 58 inches in the distance if you want that. So you're going to start off and you're going to KFB. So you're going to do your knit front back, the first one, so to create your increase. So this is the side that you would measure your 58 inches on. And then you're going to whistle your Dixie and go all the way until you get to the 3 last stitches on the needle. Once you get your 3 last stitches, you're going to purl the next 2 together. And then your last one is a knit 1. And then that's it. So that's row number 1 again. So check it off on your list, and let's move to number 2. Okay, let's do number 2. You're going to knit the first 2. And then you're going to knit 1 below. So it's right here, and you can see the line, how it's going straight up. So knit 1 below. It's nice and easy to see that now. And then, so then start alternating between your purls and your knit 1 below for the remaining of the row until you get to the last 3 stitches that are on. So once you get the last 3, you're going to knit 1 below on the 3rd last one, and then the final 2 are just knit in each one. And this was row number 2 all over again. So don't worry about how this is pulling, it's just because it's not done, but it'll be square. So let's continue and let's check that off on the list and go to number 3. Number 3, it's an increase side, so you'll knit front back. My worry is that once I get used to the knitting that I'm going to speed through these tutorials because I'll know what I'm doing, and yet you're probably not. So once you get the first knit front back, then the rest of it, whistle Dixie and just do your knit stitch until you get to the 3 last stitches on the other needle. I've had people lecture me too that I need to learn to do continental. I don't need to learn to do nothing. This is the way that my mom showed me as a kid. It's the way my grandmother knitted. This is traditional English, or this is English knitting. So I'm going to stick with what I'm most comfortable with. And I think with any hobby or anything, you got to stick with what you're most comfortable with. And if you do want to learn continental, I'm not your host to do that here. I want to just stick with one method and just go with it. And continental is apparently faster, and I would probably agree with that. It's just I want to do it this way. So once you get your last 3 in there, you're going to move the yarn forward and purl the next 2 together. So you're eliminating out a stitch by doing that. And then you'll knit your final one. And this was row number 3. And then we're going to do row number 4, which is the final of that sequence. Pretty, this makes it really thick. Let's try number 4 one more time. Let's do number 4. We're going to knit the first 2. And then we're going to purl 1, and that will kick you off on your sequence between your purling and your knit 1 below again. So just go below. I can't believe how much more relaxed I am. So purl and knit 1 below. It's almost like it's an autopilot because the stitching, I've got it in my head. But don't quote me, because when I screw up, then I'll create those big bad boy words. The other thing I've learned in knitting too is that when you make a mistake, don't panic. I'm really good at panicking and frogging my work out. I mean, just rip it. It's not as easy as crochet when you make a mistake, so I think that's why I like to let everybody in the universe know that I made a mistake. Once you get your last 3 on here, you're going to purl your last one, or your third last one, and then you're going to knit your final 2. And then we're going to go and talk about the pattern again, because now we're going to do a decrease on both sides going forward. So it will look like you've just created a rectangle shape. Just don't mind this. It's just because the needle is still on. Okay, but you're creating a rectangle shape here. So let's check that off in the list and let's move on in the pattern. So now keep repeating 1 through 4 until you get to 58 inches. It can be anything that you want as long as you land on a 4th one, 4th row to begin, then the final here, and they're both going to be decreasing at the same time. So my little worksheet, the final here for making it a decrease on both sides, so they're both going to go at the same time. We have rows number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I have to admit, when I first started filming this, I didn't realize it was a rectangle because, you know, I'm a half width. So the first row here is going to knit the first one and then purl 2 together. And then you were just going to then knit the remaining of the row across. And then the final 3 stitches, you're going to purl 2 together. And then the last stitch is going to be a knit 1. And this will be the same for 1 and 3. And 1 and 3 is the right side of the work if you want to know that. Number 2, when you get to it, you'll knit the first 2, so a K2, and then you'll knit 1 below, purl 1, knit 1 below, purl 1, and you'll continue that all the way. The 3 last stitches, the third last one will be knit 1 below, and then you'll knit the final 2. The third one here is going to be the same as number 1, so you're noticing the decrease is only 1 and 3. So rows number 1, 3 is when it actually decreases, so 2 and 4 is just maintaining the stitch work to let it keep balance. Number 4 is knit the first 2, purl 1, and then K1B, purl 1, K1B across. And then the final last 3 stitches are, the third last one is purl 1, and then knit the final 2. And you want to continue to repeat now rows number 1 through 4 until 4 stitches remain on the needle. So it doesn't matter really where you're going to finish off at this point. You just got to continue to do this, and you should get yourself down to 4 stitches by the time you go through the sequence here, and just keep on going through it. So let's try row number 1 of the final of doing the decrease. So let's do number 1 of the final decrease. So both sides are going to decrease at the same time. So rows number 1 and 3 are the same, and they're the right side of the work, and you can tell by the stitch marker as well, if that you need to know that. So you're going to knit the first one, and then you're going to purl 2 together. Okay, and so you're gonna just grab the next 2 stitches from the front side here and purl and move them off. And now you're gonna whistle your Dixie over until the last 3 stitches remain on there. And so you're just gonna continue to knit, so you don't have to worry about anything else. Just knit and be happy. Are you knitting happy? I don't know. I'm beyond the point where I've gotten rid of the self-doubt that I know that I can knit now. The question is, do I want to knit? That's the reality. And but I'm going to continue with it because I'm actually enjoying learning something new for a change. Crochet, pretty much how many times can you alternate between single crochet, double crochet, and etc. So this is kind of giving my brain some exercise. So now you get the final 3 stitches that are left. So you're going to purl the first 2 that you have there. Okay, get that off, and then you're going to knit the last one. So you've just eliminated stitches on both sides. So you've eliminated 2 stitches altogether. And this was then row number 1. Go to your check sheet, check it off, and let's do number 2. Number 2, let's begin, and you're going to knit the first 2. So we're not doing any decreases on rows number 2 and 4. So you're going to knit the first 2. So I'm finding with knitting, you really can't rush things. You just got to continue to go with the flow. So then you're going to knit 1 below, and you can see the line here, so we know everything's good. And then you continue the sequence then of purling the next and knitting 1 below. all the way to the other side until you see the last 3 stitches that are left. So I think my biggest thing when I was learning to knit is just to be able to look at the stitches and identify exactly what I'm looking at. Crochet, I can do that pretty easily because, you know, I got like 30 some odd years of experience in this. Here I've got like a few weeks. I do like the knit one below though. I think that's something that I might have to enjoy more later. So I'm looking for the last 3 to be on here, which currently it is. So we're going to knit one below on the 3rd last one to keep the sequence going. And then the final 2 is a knit in each. So knit stitch for each. And this was row number 2. Turn your work and check that off on your list. And let's begin number 3. So number 3, we're going to knit stitch just the first one, and then we're going to purl the next 2 together. So it's the same as number 1. Okay, and now we're going to whistle Dixie, and we're going to then just knit the remaining until the last 3 show up. So every time we do a decrease row, we are simply just eliminating stitches, so you're going to get faster and faster towards the ending of your blanket as we do this. So you got my 3, so you're going to purl the next 2. And then you're going to knit the final last one. And turn. And that was number 3. You can check that off on the list. Let's begin number 4. Number 4, you're going to knit the first 2. And then you are going to then purl the next one. And then the next one after that is a knit one below, and so the sequence keeps on going now. I think the trick is just understanding how to start a row and how to finish a row, and everything else in between is just alternating between the 2. Duh, finally get it near the end. So I get my 3rd last stitch. So this is number 4. So the next one is going to be a purl 1. And then the last 2 are going to be a knit stitch for each. So K2, knit 2. And this was row number 4. So you can see here, we've now got a new corner here. We've got everything going on here, and everything's looking fun and fabulous. And we're going to continue then, and I'm going to start back at number 1 again. Let's begin row number 1 again. So we're going back in the sequence, and we start, and we're going to knit the first one, and then we knit the, then we purl the next 2 together. And then we whistle Dixie and knit until we can see the final 3 stitches on here. So because my size is much smaller, I'm already getting close to that point. I actually can't even believe I'm doing this. I'm actually kind of proud of myself a lot. Okay, last 3 stitches. So the next 2 are going to be coming a purl 2 together. And then the last stitch is going to be a knit. And that was number 1 all over again. And check that off on the list. Let's keep on moving. Row number 2. So row number 2 is going to be a knit the first 2 together, or first 2 on their own. And then we drop down for the next one as a K1B. Okay, so just come here, go knit one below, and then purl. And then knit one below and keep doing the sequence, alternating between the two until you see the last 3 stitches. Okay, there's 3 stitches left. So the next one here is going to be a K1B, the third last one. And then you're going to knit the final 2. Turn your work and check that off on your list. Number 2. Let's move on to number 3. So as turning around, I realized like I have to keep on going until there's 7 stitches left. I've been saying 4, so I've been putting up a video correction. I think it's just because I'm hung up because these rows are like 1 through 4. Okay, so let's do number 3 here. So sorry about that. So number 3 is we're going to knit the first one, and then we're going to purl the next 2. So I'm realizing that I'm not able to get down to 4 stitches. I'm like, okay, I don't understand. And so I realize I've been misreading the whole time. Okay, so we got the purl 2 together, and then we're whistling Dixie of knitting all the way back to the other side, except for the last 3 stitches. We gotta take those into account. Okay, so they got the last 3, so you're gonna purl the next 2 together. And then knit last one. And then we're back to a 4th row for next time. So that last row just got us to 7, and every other row we don't do a decrease. So this row here, number 4, is not a decrease, it's just a maintenance. So we're just going to knit the first 2. And then purl 1 after that. Okay, and then we're going to then continue our sequence. So then knit 1 below, and we keep doing this until there's 3 stitches left, which is currently, so the one right before this is a purl 1, so the third last one is a purl 1, and then the last 2 are a knit 2, and we still have 7 loops here, which is good because we weren't decreasing. And now we're going to finish the final section to square this off. We're now here at the very end, and the last 4 rows is going to be what's here. We have a PSSO, and this here is short form for past slip stitch over. So we just want to make sure that we're paying attention to that when we're going to do that, and that's what we're going to do. So let's begin, and we're going to start this row, number 1, and then continue with these last 4. So in the very final section here, we're going to start, and we're going to knit the first one. And then we're going to purl 2 together. So we'll put that, oops, my apologies. Okay, if that happens, do not panic. Okay, let's try again. And so we're gonna knit the first, let's begin, and we're going to start, and we're gonna knit the first one. Just like that. And then we're going to purl the next 2 together. Okay, got that. And then we're going to knit 1. And then purl the next 2 together. Just like that. And then we're going to knit the final one. So we've just now eliminated out 7 stitches to 5. Let's turn, and let's begin the next row. The next row, we're going to start, and we're going to knit the first 2. So it says K2, so knit the first 2. And then it says slip stitch 1. So in order to do a slip stitch 1, So the next one says slip stitch 1. So you're going to slip stitch knitwise. So you're just going to go into there as if you're going to knit it and just move it right on over. So don't do anything with it. You're then going to continue and you're going to, what do we have here? So then the next one is going to be a K1B, and you can see that the lines work out. Okay, so get that going. K1B. And then it says to purl 1. Like that. And then you have one left. You're going to knit that last one. And turn your work. So let's begin the next row. So your Super Genius is back, and I've got myself stuck on the second last row, so I contacted the Yarn Inspirations design team. I have a direct gateway into that. But if you ever have questions on Yarn Inspirations patterns, you can always contact customer service, because the people that are in the phone services there or the email know how to crochet and knit. So, you know, me, I'm still learning. So I was questioning knit 1, slip 1, knitwise, then K2 together, so knit 2 together, and then PSSO, K1, and on this farm, they had some pigs, E-I-E-I-O. So I was like, oh my goodness, like, do I even have enough stitches? So anyway, I had to pause filming and get a hold of somebody over there because I don't know what I'm doing. So let's do this, and it's so simple, it's so silly. So we're going to start, and we're going to knit 1. So we know how to do that, so that's good. So we're gonna knit 1, and then it says to slip stitch knitwise, which I know how to do. I know, that's shocking itself. So we're gonna grab this stitch here, and we're just gonna go in and pretend to knit. So do the invisible wrap, and just use this needle on the right and pull it off. We're then going to knit 2 together. So stick this needle, I can tell you where to stick it, but stick this needle in and catch both of those. If you catch both of them, then you're going to knit. And you're going to slide off. Then the PSSO is taking this one here that we slipped, and we're going to pick it up, and we're going to go over top of this one right off the needle. You can tell I've not practiced. So we're gonna come up over and just kind of, and if you kind of hold on to this strand from what I can tell, and I'm gonna go right up and over. And then Gail says to knit the last one. Look at that. We're supposed to have 3 stitches left. Wow. There is hope for me at the end of the day. We're gonna turn our work, and we're gonna do our final row. So the final row is that we are just going to go in, and we're just gonna slip 1. So just slip, so to go in, and oh my goodness, that's so hard. And now we're going to knit 2 together. So we're gonna put these 2 together. And then it says PSSO, and then fasten off. So we're gonna take the first one, and we're gonna come up and over. So I'm gonna hold back this to prevent it from sliding all the way off too. And then that's it. That's it, we're done. Oh my God. Okay, so I wanna take this and trim. And before I do anything further, I wanna just pull this loop up, and I want to insert this strand through the loop. If you don't, it's all going to fall out on you, and therefore you'll really create some serious words. And, you know, my ears can't handle words like that. So now you're going to take a tapestry needle that is currently somewhere on my desk, and we want to secure all the tail ends in. Okay, so you're just going to go in. And to secure in, don't weave it in with your hook or your fingers. do the stitch work and get it onto a tapestry needle. It's better if you can split plies apart when you go to do this, and if you have multiple colors, just only slip stitch in the same color line so that you don't see it. And when you pull the first one, don't pull it to the point that you are changing the shape of your project. Okay, so once it's pulled through the first time, go through a different section and go back in the direction from which you came. I can't believe I got stuck on the second last row. Okay, I was doing so good up until that point. Okay, and then finally, the last one, I'm digressing, more like whining. And that's it. So you're gonna weave in your ends. So any ends that you'll end up with, you wanna do the same thing. There are videos on how to change over your yarns if you need that, or changing color, or changing your yarns out if you run out. And so it is extremely stretchy. It is fun. It is fabulous. I'm hip, I'm cool, I'm 45. If only I'm 49, but that's it, and that's it. I know it's over. I'm actually kind of sad it's done. And really, really thick. It's thick yarn, but look at the beautiful lines on that. Guess who knitted that? This one.